Qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix is over and Charles Leclerc takes pole position on home soil as he was able to convert the pace from practice into qualifying. But what else did we learn? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be doing a data analysis from qualifying. If you enjoy the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. Now, let's get straight into the video. As usual, I'll be talking about the top 5 teams later on, which is Aston Martin, Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari and Red Bull, so stick around for that. Yes, qualifying is over and the fastest driver was the hometown hero, as Charles Leclerc will be looking to finally break his Monaco Grand Prix curse by winning his home race, and he did it in fine form for Q3. His lap time today was over 1 second faster than last year's pole position lap time, showing the insane rate of development in F1. Monaco qualifying is nothing like any other circuit. Typically we see improvements by a maximum of a second to a second and a half. However, at Monaco it's completely different due to the drivers needing time to build confidence. This means that this year the lap times improved by 2.6 seconds, which you can see here when you look at the times that were set by Charles Leclerc. Let's now compare his first lap in qualifying to the last lap to see how the circuit and driver confidence evolved as the session went on. When you look at these laps, the area where the lap times improved the most is here through the Casino Square, as in Q3 Charles Leclerc is able to carry roughly 13 km/h more through the corner. From the tight hairpin you can also see that Charles Leclerc is able to get to full throttle sooner as the grip has come towards the drivers, and this allows Leclerc to gain a large amount of time. The other corner where Charles gains a lot of time is through to back before heading into the swimming pool chicane. Here Charles Leclerc carries another 11 km/h at the apex of the corner as he is extracting the maximum performance possible. Finally, through Rascasse and Anthony Nogues, Leclerc is significantly faster and gets to full throttle much sooner. So much so that it almost looks like a different formula by the end. This altogether leads to a pole time of 1 minute 10 seconds 0.27. So we've seen how the times improved during the session, but let's now take a look at the top speed that each team was able to reach. And what can we see when we look at this? Well, one thing that we can see is that Red Bull in practice definitely did have things turned down more than their rivals, as they were able to really improve their straight line performance overnight, as they were able to reach 285 kilometers, which is a lot faster than 279 km/h. The fastest car in a straight line was Aston Martin, as they reached 291 km/h. However, that was maybe down to a slight toe for Lance Stroll. Just behind them as usual was Haas, as they were able to reach a top speed of 290 km/h. However, of course, they were disqualified from qualifying due to having illegal rear wings, so it's going to be interesting to see how that changes for the Grand Prix. The slowest car in a straight line was the team that have struggled all weekend long, which was Sauber, as it looks like Sauber have got the setup completely wrong, and the race for them is going to be a very long one. In the midfield then, what teams were looking good? Well, one team that has looked much better this weekend than usual is Williams, as Alex Albon was able to reach Q3 in qualifying, and not only reach Q3, but he was not last in Q3 either, and he has set the team up for a possible points finish in the race, which would be his first points finish for Williams all season long. Albon was beaten by Tsunoda, but we do kind of expect that at this point. So let's now look at the time of Albon and compare it to Pierre Gasly, who was in 10th place. And when you look at these two laps from Q3, what is interesting is that the Alpine was able to carry significantly more speed going through the tunnel and heading into the Nouvelle chicane. And going through the swimming pool section, he was actually faster than Albon, but then going through Rascasse and Anthony Nogues, a slight error meant that Gasly lost a bunch of time to Alex Albon. For Albon, if he can keep the tyres alive, which does look to be an issue for Williams right now, then he might finally be able to score some points for the Williams team, who so far have failed to do so. But like I said, Williams have struggled with the tyres, so it could be a difficult weekend for them, but thankfully for them, Monaco is almost impossible to overtake on. I just want to say that if you are enjoying the video so far, then I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. Now though, let's get back to the video and let's talk about the top 5 teams, starting with Aston Martin. For Aston Martin, it was looking all good after practice, and I thought that there was a chance that Alonso could find himself in Q3 with a possible top 6 finish. However, it was a Q1 elimination for him, as he was looking scruffy in his final lap, and then caught traffic right at the end, which stopped him from getting through. Teammate Stroll once again did beat his teammate, but failed to make Q3. For Stroll, let's compare his time to Yuki Tsunoda from Q2 to see where Stroll missed out. And when you compare these laps, it actually starts off fairly well for Stroll, and he has the edge. Right up, of course, until Casino Square. Through here though, he cannot carry the same amount of speed and actually loses out, and from there he's consistently losing time to Tsunoda. Through the Nouvelle Chicane, he gets a much worse run, and then through the swimming pool he cannot carry the same amount of speed. Once again, Aston Martin have been beaten by VCARB, and for Aston Martin this is gonna be a real blow, as they started the weekend so well, but it fell apart once again. It will be difficult for Aston Martin to recover to points, and I have a feeling that for them, it's going to be a very long race. For Mercedes, George Russell beat Lewis Hamilton once again in qualifying. George Russell had a fantastic day and was able to finish in 5th place, and he even managed to beat the championship leader Max Verstappen in qualifying. So let's compare the laps of George Russell to Max Verstappen. And when you look at these laps, it actually looks like Verstappen should have easily beaten Russell, because in general it looks like Max was a lot faster. You can see that through the hairpin and through Portier, he's looking good. But then on the exit of Portier, Russell gets a much better exit, and he carries that advantage all the way down to the chicane. Through swimming pool, as you would somewhat expect, Max Verstappen is full commitment and much faster than Russell, but it all comes undone at the exit of the Anthony No corner, as Russell gets another strong exit and uses that to clinch 5th place. In the race tomorrow, I think it will be difficult for Russell to hold off Verstappen for the entire race, but he can definitely give the world champion a run for his money. For McLaren, it was almost pole position, as they were paying tribute to Ayrton Senna this weekend, as Oscar Piastri was very close to securing pole, but he just missed out against Charles Leclerc. He, however, did manage to beat Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, and his teammate Lando Norris, he wasn't as strong in qualifying and he finished in 4th place. The battle tomorrow is likely to be incredible between McLaren and Ferrari. And for Ferrari, it was an incredible pole position for Charles Leclerc, as he impressed and set himself up to finally win his home race and his first race since 2022. Let's now compare the times of Charles Leclerc to Oscar Piastri, which is the lap times that I know you have been waiting for. When you look at these two laps, there is very little to tell between Piastri and Leclerc through Sector 1. Through the very tight and slow hairpin though, Leclerc gains a lot of time on the McLaren. This was of course a weaker area for McLaren in the past, but I want to say they have definitely improved in the slow speed corners now, and that's not as weak of an area as it once was. After that, McLaren does close back up through Portier. Then though, heading into the final corner, Charles Leclerc gets a fantastic run and nails pole position. For Ferrari then, they are in a great position, and for Leclerc, this is finally the opportunity for him to win his home race. The question is though, will something happen that causes his curse at Monaco to continue? And finally for Red Bull, it was a nightmare day, and the chances of them winning the Monaco Grand Prix has pretty much gone out the window, as Max Verstappen is only in P6, and teammate Sergio Perez will be starting from near the back of the grid. Verstappen made a mistake on his final lap, but let's now look at his fastest lap and compare it to Charles Leclerc on pole position. And when you look at these two laps, the damage was really done at the tight hairpin and the Nouvelle Chicane, showing just how strong Ferrari and Charles were in the slow speed. Through to back and the swimming pool, Verstappen's incredible commitment that I mentioned earlier came through and he was able to start closing the gap, but then he was very slow at the final corner as we also saw earlier when looking at Russell, and this is why Verstappen lost out a lot of time, and he's starting down in 6th place, and Leclerc was able to beat him by 0.3 of a second. So what are my final predictions for the Monaco Grand Prix? Well, I think the top midfield team and midfield driver will be Yuki Tsunoda in the VCARB, and I know that's a bit of an obvious answer right now, but I do think that's what's going to be the case. So what about the top 5 then? Well, in P5, I'm going to go for Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. P4 will be Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. P3 will be Lando Norris in the McLaren. P2 will be Oscar Piastri. And yes, I think Charles Leclerc is finally going to break the Monaco Grand Prix curse and win his home race. But that is what I think. The question is though, what do you guys think will happen? In the comment section down below, let me know. And as always, comment, leave a like, and subscribe for more F1 content. Thank you all so much for watching.